Horror is already a diverse genre when it comes to cinema. There are those that just do not understand why we like horror in the first place, and to those people I say, you go and watch your rom-coms and leave horror to me, thank you very much. But already, there is going to be a variety of different opinions when it comes to all things within the genre, and sometimes you're on the popular side of this opinion, and other times you're on the not quite so popular opinion of this. I'm not out here claiming like some insanity claims I've seen online, like people who like extreme horror should have a psych evaluation, and to those people I say, I'm perfectly fine, thank you very much. I like an extreme horror movie from time to time. It doesn't mean that I'm out here trying to reenact those extreme things from horror movies, like, it's not that complex. But of course, there are going to be some things that I have the unpopular opinion about. And before anybody wants to come for me with their pitchforks in my comment section saying, you're wrong, my opinion isn't wrong. It's just different from yours, and it doesn't make either side of the argument more valid than the other. It's called personal taste for a reason, not everybody's taste. If you're new here, I go by Hordes, and if you're not new, welcome back. I talk about horror movies here on my channel on Mondays and Fridays, so if that sounds like something you might be interested in, maybe hit that subscribe button and join the Horde, and if you are feeling extra generous, like every creator on YouTube says these days, maybe hit that like button because it really does help me out as a creator. So without further ado, I have pulled out 6 of my unpopular horror opinions. Okay, let's go. My first opinion, and probably my least controversial I would say out of these, is I think that Friday the 13th Part 1 is massively overrated, and I think it is actually quite a boring movie. Not the rest of the franchise. I'm not coming for parts 2 to the end of it, because God knows how many there are at this point. I'm including reboots and remakes in this. I'm not coming for its legacy. I'm just saying Part 1 from 1980 is overrated, and it's overhyped, and it's boring as hell. If you described this movie accurately, not the synopsis of the actual movie, you would think that you were watching 2 completely different movies. I mean, angry woman in a turtleneck hates every horny camp counselor to ever exist is a very different movie to machete-wielding maniac slaughters summer camp. Like, if you would like a whole video of me just badly but accurately describing horror movie plots, let me know in the comment section because I will do it. But this movie it's overhyped and no one will ever change my opinion on it. My second unpopular opinion, and I get to say that this is an unpopular opinion going off its score on Letterboxd. I don't think that Ghost Ship from 2002 deserves all the hate it gets. Like, this movie has got a 2.4 over on Letterboxd, with a 2 being the average score for this movie, and I don't think it deserves that hate. It has got one of the most iconic openings for a horror movie, yet people like to absolutely trash this movie. They like to point out things like how the ghosts are played by actors. Have you seen 2002 CGI? Like, I would rather have the ghosts be people and them go for like practical effects that Disney used to make them like appear in and out of scenes than give me bad 2002 CGI. And if you'd like proof of bad 2000 CGI, just go and watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. As much as I love that show, it has not aged well at all. Like, this was one of the first horror movies that I ever watched growing up, along with The Mummy from 1999, and if you don't think The Mummy is a horror movie, go back and re-watch that movie, because yes, while it is an action-adventure movie, it is absolutely a horror movie. A man gets his face sucked off, like, not in a sexy way. Like, it is definitely a horror movie, but I like Ghost Ship, and I'm saying it full chest. I like the movie Ghost Ship. It is non-serious with its waterlogged explosions. Like, just go into it expecting a good time. This movie came out in the era of things like Tomb Raider and obviously The Mummy, so it's clearly of its time. But even recently, with like the Dark Pictures anthology, Man of Medan at one point even pays homage to this movie. Like, there's a reason why Ghost Ship, everybody still thinks of that opening. Like, it's amazing. That opening is insane. It is insane. If you go into this movie expecting it to be some kind of cinematic masterpiece, like, more fool on you. Like, go into this expecting like an action adventure movie with supernatural elements and you will have a great time with this one. And at the end of the day, this is the same director that did 13 Ghosts. Like, what were you expecting?
The impudence! The audacity!
My third opinion, I don't think that Sally should have survived in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I am going to back up my opinion with 2 points for this one. And the first one is, she survives by sheer dumb luck. The Sawyers make a single mistake and she manages to escape because of that. And I always think the best final girls are the ones that you have seen start off like a little bit more quiet and reserved, and by the end of it, they are like full-on powerhouses. So it makes absolute sense why they make it all the way to the end. And I don't feel that way about Sally in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But there is a second reason, and it is my main reason as to why I don't think that this girl should have survived. In the beginning of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, when the text pops up, it mentions 5 teenagers, but 2 of those teenagers are actually named, and that is Sally and her brother Franklin, which immediately sets up these 2 characters as more important than the other 3 teenagers that you then meet in the van when they pick up the hitchhiker, aka Nubbins. Because of this, you already know who the final girl is going to be. They've established this right from the beginning. So what they should have done is either just gone with 5 teens, and then it's kind of, you know, a question. Who's going to make it all the way to the end? Is anybody going to make it all the way to the end? Or if they are going to be like, Sally and her brother are far more important, so we've included them in the opening, why not have Sally get recaptured at the end? It would have made far more, like, leave her fate up to interpretation for the viewer, because at the end, it does pop up that the crime scene has been discovered. So, is Sally dead or alive? Would have been a much more satisfying ending, in my opinion. So, no, I don't think that Sally should have survived Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Who is she? Who is she? Where did you find her?
The fourth opinion is the one that I am the most nervous to put out there, because I know that this person has some die-hard fans out there who will pick up their pitchforks and come for me over this opinion. And that is, I don't think Oz Perkins movies are that great. Like, I think that they are style over substance movies, and I do not understand the hype around them. I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House was just meh. Gretel and Hansel was meh, and if anybody can name an iconic part of that movie besides the hair-eating scene, I would love to know, like, put it down in the comments. And I will never understand the hype around Longlegs from last year. It took me 3 days to watch Longlegs because I could not get into that movie. I found it so boring. In the end, I actually gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. Yeah, I get that it was so many people's favourite movies of last year, and I love that for you. You go and watch Longlegs. I'm going to go and watch Your Monster and the Substance instead, because Longlegs does absolutely nothing for me. Nick Cage is only in the movie for about 10 minutes, which is less than Michael Keaton is in the original Beetlejuice movie. Please, please do not give me a Longlegs sequel, because I'm not going to watch it. I'm not. But there is one Oz Perkins movie that I will give credit to, and that is, if you didn't know, he was the director of Legally Blonde, and I will not have a bad word said against my girl Elle Woods. But the rest of his movies, style over substance, do not get the hype. As a 4.5, I will also throw in that is how I feel about A24 movies. I also think that 95% of them are style over substance. But this is coming from somebody who likes death games and insane Japanese horror comedies, so you do you, and I will stick to doing me.
Gasp!
This one may offend a few people that actually like these remakes, but I don't think that Western remakes of Asian movies are ever good, and shock and horror that I am the one going to bat for these movies. One Missed Call, 13 The Game of Death, Ringu, The Grudge, insert whichever one you like. They are not as good when they are remade in the West as they are when you watch their original Asian counterparts. You cannot simply swap the culture and make it work, because America and Japan are very different. America and Korea are very different. Like, you cannot do a one-for-one swap and expect them to work. Like, 13 The Game of Death, the Thai movie, is amazing. If you haven't seen it, go and watch the original. Do not watch 13 Sins. Ron Perlman couldn't even save this movie when they inserted him as a random ass character who wasn't even in the original because they just wanted Ron Perlman to be in their movie. Sadako is better than Samara. I will die on this hill. Like, that, no, they so much of Sadako's lore gets lost in the Western remake for this. And do not get me started on the 2022 version of The Grudge. Like, why is Kayako in Pennsylvania? Like, her curse ties her to her house in Japan. Why is she in Pennsylvania? Like, did she look at her son that meows and was like, I'm going on vacation, you're in charge now? No, it's not a Grudge movie. It's not. Also, there is a rumour that they are trying to do a Western remake of the Japanese movie Audition from 1999. And if you have seen that movie, I'm sure that you will agree with me when I say to whoever is trying to plan this, don't fucking touch it.
I said what I said!
My sixth and final opinion, and I'm sure that there will be people with their pitchforks that come for me for this one, and that is, I don't think that the Human Centipede from 2009 is as bad as people think it is. I'm saying it, I'm putting it out there now. There is a thing online regarding this movie, and people think that it is the most disgusting and gross and should never have been made movie of all time. And to those people I say, have you actually watched the movie? Or are you listening to the group of people online who are saying this, who also haven't seen the movie? Trust what I say. Human Centipede is not for somebody who is, like, easily grossed out, because it is a gross horror movie. It's a button-pushy horror movie. But this is button-pushy by 2009 standards, and I guarantee if you watch extreme horror movies or anything that is remotely, like out there, you've seen worse than the Human Centipede at this point. This is coming from someone who has seen things like the Guinea Pig movies, August Underground, Hotel Inferno. There's a reason they made Human Centipede 2. They listened to what people were saying about the first one and went, we weren't that, but we will now be all of that and a bag of chips with a staple gun. Like, these people are the reason we got Human Centipede 2, and Human Centipede 2 is horrendous. Horrendous. I will never rewatch Human Centipede 2. Like, the scene with the baby in that movie, no. But Human Centipede 1 isn't as bad as people say it is. There is a reason why the first Human Centipede movie is only tier 2 on the extreme horror iceberg list. And what else happens to be in tier 2? Hostel, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and House of a Thousand Corpses. Like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you don't see anything in that movie. If you rewatch that movie, you don't see a meat hook physically go through someone. It's all an illusion. You see nothing in that movie. Hostel is terrible. I'm throwing that in as a bonus opinion. I think Eli Roth is also really overrated. I can't stand his movies. So there you have it, my 6 plus 2 halves of 7 unpopular horror opinions, and if you would like to share your own in the comment section, please go wild. Like, let's share, let's talk about it. But my only request is keep it respectful, because anybody that takes this too far and wants to get personal, I will actually mute you, because we're not here for that on this channel, so keep it respectful. Like, besides that, go absolutely wild, share your unpopular opinions with each other. I would love to know what everybody else's opinions are, because I have a feeling that there are people out there who are going to have more unpopular opinions than I have. I think mine are quite tame, in all honesty. Like I said at the beginning, I don't think that people who like extreme horror need a psychiatric evaluation. If you would like to know where else you can find me, I am also over on Instagram and Letterboxd at HordesOfHorror. And if you are here on YouTube, I will be back on Monday. But this time it will be with a solo movie review. And thank you to one of the Horde members who alerted me that this movie had just come out, because I have been waiting for this one. So on Monday, we are watching Popeye the Slayer Man from 2025. And if you thought I wasn't going to review this one, you must be new here. So until next time, bye.